What's your go-to food in the cafeteria or favorite lunch option? I really like the fish tacos. They're like a really great treat after a super hard class.
Well, for me, I absolutely love the bacon mac and cheese from the kiosk, which is sort of like a little cafe on the first floor.
Definitely pasta, especially the variety of pasta that Latin serves.
Pasta bar with marinara sauce.
From the spaghetti
I'm a huge pasta bar guy.
to the mac and cheese to the penne
Pasta. I'm a bit of a pasta fanatic.
to even the little bow tie ones.
The most interesting book that I read at Latin has been The Girl with Seven Names. I read this in sophomore year in the Asian literature class, and it was super interesting because it follows a young woman who's trying to escape from North Korea to South Korea, and like the title of the book says, she has to change her identity 7 different times. And it really focuses on her struggles as a woman, but also what's going on in North Korea at the time.
I would say Homegoing. I read it in my African literature class sophomore year. It's a book about how lives are interconnected.
I would say it would have to be Educated. Educated by Tara Westover. I read this book in American Seeker. It's a class about seeking to what's the real definition of being a true American. Amazing book. Definitely would give it a read.
Me Ultima in freshman year by Rodolfo Anaya. It's a coming-of-age story about a little boy under the wing of his grandmother, who's kind of spiritual and witchy. She's so cool. And I don't love reading, but Mr. Joyce, who was the teacher for that class, just made it so interesting for me, and I really enjoyed that book.
Buzzed. It was a book that I needed to read for medchem, and I especially liked it because it talks about the brain and how different substances like alcohol and marijuana affect its processing.
My favorite book I've ever read in class at Latin is Flatland. We're actually reading it in pre-calculus, which is kind of weird, but it's a commentary on Victorian English society through the lens of geometry.
What's an extracurricular activity that you're involved in without Latin that you really like, and what do you like about it? I'm involved with 3 sports at Latin, and I run my own club. So I'll talk about squash. I joined squash my sophomore year. I've never played a hand-eye ball coordination sport, and I found it really hard at first, but with the help of my teammates, I definitely is one of my favorite sports now. I also run a club called Latlit. It's a literary journal at Latin for creative writing.
I play soccer for Latin, and I really like it because you can tell the coaches care a lot about you and the success of the team and us as individuals, and we compete against many of the best teams in the state.
Well, first of all, I'm in track. I'm wearing my track jacket. I love track because the community is amazing. Everybody's so uplifting on the team. Even if you don't have a good race, everybody's still there to support you. And I also really like Black Student Union. It's a great place for Black students at Latin to come together and just express their feelings, or just like, hey, how you doing? Just to catch up.
I love Mod UN. It has been the passion of my life over these last few years. I have met so many people that I would not have had the chance to meet otherwise, and debated and understood so many international perspectives on various issues. You should totally check it out. It's absolutely fantastic.
So I joined Women in STEM my sophomore year, which was the year it was created. The people in Women in STEM are really, really, really supportive. It's a great small group of girls who gather and have anything from discussions to fun, cute little experiments that we do. We talk a lot about bridging the gap, the gender gap in STEM, and really look at ways that we can be aware of that within our own school.
The class at Latin that I've most enjoyed has been Nazi Mind, because overall it's a super interesting class. But I also like that instead of ending with an essay, it ends with a simulation, and it ends with the simulation of the Nuremberg trials. And I think this is a super unique way for the students to really understand what's happening at this time.
My favorite class I've taken at Latin has actually been music tech, which I took last year. I'm in love with music. The class was so hands-on that we were always learning something by using new digital audio workstations on our computers or going on field trips. My favorite of which was when we were able to go to the Chicago Recording Company, and we were really able to see behind the scenes of all the music we love.
So I've at Latin chosen to dive deep into the computer sciences, And one class that I've really enjoyed taking was called Mant Tetris, and that is where you learn the basics of a computer, and you basically code your own computer and you learn how to build a computer.
Math and finance is a great class if you're interested in economics or any of that good financial stuff. It's an introductory course, so you get to learn a lot about vocabulary, Google Sheets. It's really fun, and it kind of flows my boat, so I enjoyed it.
If you were in the Romanettes or Latones, what's a song you'd like to sing on stage?
I loved the song Games. I don't know if you've ever heard it. It goes, girls just want to play games. And it was so much fun to sing. And actually, it's a little bit iffy, so we decided halfway through to change all of the girls to boys, and it was a delightful time. We were in the little lapses in the song, we were cracking jokes at each other, calling each other out. It was the audience just loved it, and it was so much fun to be able to sing that with all these people. It's an absolutely amazing community. You should totally check it out.
I'd probably want to sing Hurricane by Luke Combs.
Unfortunately, I don't have the best singing voice, but I would suggest possibly Rolling in the Deep by Adele.
My favorite memory this far has been during the Roman to Roman or Mentor Program event, which is the program that places freshmen or other incoming students with an upperclassman to create this relationship that's just super awesome. Anyways, one of the activities was playing dodgeball, mentors versus mentees, and it was just a super fun, super cute way to compete against the school, and it's really a memory that I don't think I'll forget for a long time.
Sophomore year, we went to Uptown and we walked around with our advisory, and I just remember laughing with my advisor, Miss Holloway, and along with my peers, and it was a really fun and kind of adventurous time.
I think my favorite memory, there's so many, I really don't think I can pick one, but the first one that's coming to mind is homecoming last year. Before everything crazy was happening, we did have the opportunity to have homecoming, and I tore my ACL last year, so I was in a full leg thing that was confining me, and it was hilarious. But I went to homecoming, and Mr. Edwards, the junior and senior dean, came up to me and he was like, "Be careful, Charlie, I'm watching you, like, don't dance too hard." I just thought that was really nice of him to come over, but also really funny.
It was opening night at the winter play, and I had truly never felt more part of community than that day, that Wednesday night, when we were all just sitting together in the band room, just telling each other good luck, break a leg for this opening night, and just overall that whole experience. The winter play was so amazing.
I took a half-court shot once at a pep rally, and it was so much fun because I shot it and I could kind of tell it wasn't going to go in because it was a little bit to the left, but from everyone's perspective on the bleachers on the left, it totally looked like it was going to go in, so everyone started jumping and shouting like, yeah, it's in, and then it didn't go in, and it was absolutely hilarious.
Name a moment that you felt really proud to be a Roman. Definitely my freshman year when we were going through the gym and we were getting our Roman sweatshirts. It made me feel really excited about the school and really kind of happy to represent where I was going and to just be involved in a new community.
Last winter break, I was on the Giving Kids the World trip, which is part of Latin's Project Week, where we went down to Florida to this community called Giving Kids the World. That's through Make-A-Wish Foundation, and you just help kids. And it was just this amazing experience to see kids come together. Our Latin group came together, but also these kids with ailments and disadvantages, and the community, just the sense of community and the sense of urge from the Latin students to help.
Would have to be the boathouse jacket ceremony. It's when freshmen on the first day of school, they get their boathouse jackets, and all the seniors of that year line up on the stairwell outside the pit, and the freshmen run through them and they scream with their jackets on. It was a really connecting event with across grade levels, and it just made me feel really welcome at Latin School of Chicago.
On the volleyball team, and last year we were doing a game against St. Ignatius, which is always a super fun game because they're a big school. We get a lot of fans come out, and some classmates even drove out to watch us. We didn't really think we were going to win, but then we ended up winning, and I ended up becoming close to some of those girls on my volleyball team, and I was playing with some older girls at Latin, which I was so intimidated about, but they were really nice and taught me a lot about volleyball, but also just about life at Latin.
I was really proud when our soccer team won the ISL's, which is our sports conference, the ISL's sportsmanship award from this last soccer season.
This all the time, but truly, Latin would not be the place it is to me without its community and the people in it. Even from the dances to class to the hugs in the hallways, they make me laugh, they make me smile.
MLK Day freshman year, it was my first time kind of experiencing an MLK Day similar to the one that Latin was holding, with like the workshops on equity, whether it be racial equity or gender equity. Yeah, so I felt especially proud to be talking about relevant topics that affect all types of people today and may continue to affect people in the future.